afternoon. We're going to do an abridged lesson today because we have one of the recipes is like a miniature labor of love. So I need the time to prepare it fully. So remember how we did our memory recall game last week? And you all did less than favorable. So I wanted to kind of reiterate some points. So I passed out this little handout put together for you to make sure that certain points that no matter what, when you walk away from this class, you can't say you don't know this information. So I want to make sure it's hit home and there's some type of visual, something tactile that you can say, okay, that I get it. All right. So when we talked last week, when we're talking about daily percent values of iron, magnesium, whatever they say on the label, 20% or higher is what? Considered? Excellent. And anything between 10 and 19 is considered good. And then if it's less than 5% is considered poor. Okay? So this is when you're looking at a nutrition label. I have it printed out here. So I want us to kind of go through. I'm going to do some audience engagement, okay? So you don't have to hear my monotone voice the entire time. So let's start with Mike with the start here. Do you mind reading that aloud?
Check the serving size and number of servings in the package. Serving size is important to note because it influences the amount of calories and nutrients listed on the nutrition facts label. It's okay to consume more than one serving of certain items, but be mindful of how that will change the calorie and nutrition amounts on the nutrition facts label.
Thank you so much. So just to hit that point home, you'll see a lot of horrible packaged processed things, and it'll say on the front, just 100 calories, right? And then it's like 2 crackers is that 100 calories when they know you're going to eat the whole thing. Check the serving size. It is absolutely essential, okay? And I think we talked the first time I brought this up was with spray oils. We already know we want to either not use or very consciously use oils because they're very calorically dense. They cause inflammation, all that kind of stuff. But most of them, they'll say like 0 calorie. And it says on the back, the serving size is 1/3 of a second. So if you know how to press it 1/3 of a second to get the no calorie, props to you, okay? But that's some of that deceptive marketing where you can be like, oh, it says a 0 calorie or low cal for spray oil. Not the case, okay? So that's a good thing. Heather, do you mind reading the check your calories section?
Check calories. Calories are a measure of how much energy is in a serving of food.
No.
Excess calories may cause weight gain, but don't stop at just the calories. Finish reading the nutrition facts labels to determine if the calories are empty or nutrient dense.
Yes, thank you so much. So all calories are not equal, okay? So the calories that you're going to get from eating an apple is not the same calories you get from eating a Krispy Kreme donut, okay? They're not equal. And so the calories in a Krispy Kreme donut will be on the empty side versus an apple where it's going to be on the nutrient dense side because you're getting fiber, you're getting minerals, you're getting vitamins, and we can't say you're getting out the Krispy Kreme donut or anything you want to compare and contrast that with, okay? So the calories do matter. So now, and also the time of day you consume the calories. There's a whole study on this. The same calories you eat in the morning, how it affects your body, and then eat those same calories at night, you can gain weight because our bodies are synced with the circadian rhythms, or they should be, okay? So you should not be eating after the sun goes down. You should be eating your biggest meal when the sun's at the peak of the day, so around noon, and that's when you want to consume the majority of your calories. If you eat the same meal that you would eat at high noon, at 8 o'clock at night, it would affect your body differently and how it digests and all that. So that's something just to keep in mind, okay? I know we haven't gone too deep into that because it's not the class for it, but just to keep that in mind. Okay, Karen, be mindful of these things.
Be mindful of these things. Eating too much saturated fat, trans fat, sodium, or added sugar may increase risk of certain chronic diseases. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends avoiding trans fat and limiting saturated fat to less than 10% of total daily calories by replacing them with unsaturated fats. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans also recommends less than 10% of total daily calories come from added sugar.
We would like for it, no calories come from added sugars. We did the whole sugar exercise a couple weeks ago, and we talked about how they conveniently put the nutrition facts in the metric system when we use the imperial system here. So they put it in grams. So you see 43 grams of added sugar. You have no idea what 43 grams of added sugar is, so you say it must be fine. And then it turns out, oh, that's 11 teaspoons of sugar in this one drink, and that one drink says it's 2 servings on the bottle. So now you're consuming all this sugar in a little Orange Crush or Mountain Dew or whatever poison you're picking for that day. So it's something to be mindful of. Saturated fat, most Americans get most of their saturated fat from eating chicken and other meat. And we're not fat shaming. You should consume fat. Your body needs healthy fats. Your body also needs saturated fat. But you don't have to get it from meat. As you know, you can get it from coconut oil. You can get it from other places. But, and that's where our hormones are made. We need to have saturated fat that turns into cholesterol. Cholesterol is what turns into all of your other hormones in your body. So that's how your testosterone is produced, your estrogen is produced. All that's a cascade effect from cholesterol. And your body does things in priority, and your body only does one thing at a time. So if your body is stressed, it's going to say, oh, you know what? He doesn't need his testosterone right now. He doesn't need to produce a baby. He's stressed. We're going to add more cortisol. It'll make those kind of decisions. But if you don't have enough, and you don't need that much, like a teaspoon a day, saturated fat. If you don't have that much saturated fat, or your cholesterol is out of whack and your hormones are out of whack, it's because of that cascade of hormones and what's going on in your life. So you want to look at not just what you're eating, it's also about your thoughts, it's also about your whole environment. It's a whole holistic approach because your life is holistic. It's not just one thing, it's not binary. So just keep those in mind. All right, let's see, Aaron, percent daily value.
The percent daily value is based on the daily value recommended by Key Nutrition for a 2,000 calorie diet. 5% DV or less is a low amount per serving, and 20% DV or higher is a high amount per serving. Look for a low percent DV for nutrition you may want to limit. Saturated fat, trans fat, sodium, and added sugars. Look for a high DV for nutrition you want to consume in greater amounts. Fiber, vitamin D, potassium, calcium, and iron.
I just want to make a note here. There should be zero intake of trans fats, okay? Because it does nothing for your body. I can say that, you know, without any qualms about that. Trans fats, as we've talked about, if that's your Crisco, anything that's partially hydrogenated, anything that it becomes rigidity in your veins. Okay, that's what you don't want. Also, if you're a person that cooks with oil, once that oil smokes, it has become a trans fat. Okay, so you have to make sure if you choose to cook with oils that you're using the oils at the right temperature. So for example, as we talked about many times in this class, if you decide to cook with olive oil should be used as a finisher, not to be cooked with. It's a very low temperature oil. So if you're going to use it towards the end, because that's what you're paying for when you get that extra virgin olive oil, so you can actually taste the fruit. That's what the price is for. Make sure that you're using it as a finisher so you can actually taste it. You really should not be cooking with olive oil. High heat oils, if you choose to cook or saute with oils, are your coconut oils, your avocado oil, sesame oils. Those are naturally occurring oils that are high heat. Then you have your medium heat oils like the palm fruit oil from West Africa and South America. The other oils we want to completely avoid: canola, vegetable oils, the cottonseed oils, all these industrial creations that are highly processed and highly inflammatory to the body. You should not even have them in your kitchen, okay? Just eliminate them. So that's just a side note, but I know we talked about that many times. Last person, let's get Jackie, okay? Enough of these.
The dietary guidelines for Americans recommend consuming 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, which many Americans do not meet. Eating enough fiber as well as vitamin D, potassium, calcium, and iron can improve health and help reduce the risk of some diseases and conditions.
Perfect. So as we talked about in this class, per major meal, because remember they're trying to tell you or sell you that you need 3 meals a day. You really don't. That's based on something from 70 years ago when the plates were smaller, the portion size was smaller, and you don't even need 2,000 calories a day, but that's a whole other conversation. What you want to make sure is, instead of people asking where you're getting your protein from, where are you getting your fiber, okay? Most Americans get their fiber from French fries and the burger buns, which is completely refined, which, remember I did that bread exercise in the class. So you want to make sure that you have at least 12 grams of fiber per major meal. So if you are eating those 3 a breakfast, lunch, and dinner a day, and you make sure you have at least 12 grams of fiber per major meal, then you're having the minimum amount of fiber you need to keep things moving, to get out the excess hormones and excess toxins in your body. Because if you don't eat enough fiber, that stuff stays in your system and it reabsorbs toxins in your body because you're not pooping out enough. You should be pooping every day. If you eat 3 major meals a day, you should be pooping 3 times a day. If you eat 2 major meals a day, you should be pooping two times a day. And we talk about the quality of the poop. The poop needs to come out like an S, like your colon. You should not be forcing it. You should not have time to read a whole novel or a book or an audio book when you're sitting there. It should come out effortlessly. It should have no smell. When you wipe, you should only have to wipe once, at the max twice. If that's not happening, stuff is not right in there, okay?
And it shouldn't float.
Correct. Okay.
So I have a question about fiber. Every morning I take a psyllium fiber supplement,
Mhm.
organic psyllium fiber supplement. Is that the same as getting it in food?
So I like psyllium husk. It's excellent fiber source.
Mm-hmm.
So it is good, but you want to make sure that you're still getting it from whole food sources
Okay.
because it's still been extracted. So, but it's still, that's the one I approve of. Not so much the Metamucil because they add other stuff to it, but psyllium husk by itself, I am on board with that, assuming you don't have gastrointestinal issues. Yeah. Yeah.
What's a good source of calcium?
Sesame seeds, one of the highest sources of calcium on the planet. So sesame seeds or tahini, and then of course if you eat your dark leafy greens, tofu, they have calcium. Yes. We're good. Last one, we have a new person. What's your name?
Nicole.
Nicole. Hey Nicole, do you mind reading the ingredient list to wrap us up?
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Someone can pass.
Ingredient list. On a product's label, the ingredients are listed in order of predominance. The ingredients used in the greatest amounts are listed first, followed in descending order by those used in smaller amounts. Excuse me.
Yes. So I'm sure you probably knew this, but in case you didn't. So if you have, let's see, I don't really have stuff with ingredients. This is the thing I got from the farmer's market to kind of show. Does she put them on here? Okay. So this is supposed to be apricot jam, something I used to really love. And this lady makes this at the farmer's market. And so this is like an occasional indulgence. I've had this for quite a while. The first ingredient is cane sugar, not apricots. Okay? The second ingredient is apricot. The third ingredient is pectin. The fourth ingredient is citric acid, which is not fresh like lemon or lime juice. It's the synthetic form. And then natural color, which is always like red flag, red flag, red flag. Okay? This is what you do not want to consume. You want to read your labels, even though it tastes awesome. Okay? You can make your own and make it taste good and have the first ingredient be the actual fruit. Okay? You don't want to do that. So like here, well, I just took out the refrigerator, so it may not look the best right now, but anyway, it tastes good. All right, this is a raspberry chia seed jam I made. All I did was take one of the little baskets you get in the grocery store of organic raspberries, put it in a little pot. I put 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. If you need it a little bit sweeter, then add a little bit more. And 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. And just mix it, and you have your own jam. Now it's full of omega-3s. You have all the fiber. You don't have pectins and all this other cane. You don't have all that, okay? You have naturally a jam. And it took, I guess getting the pot out, I'm going to say a total 5 minutes, including me getting the pot out this cabinet and all that. Okay, so there are other ways that are cheaper, that are healthier, that taste really good, and you can actually taste raspberries. I remember because growing up, like I told you all my story, how incredibly sick I was and how incredibly allergic to everything I was. And it seemed like all the healthy stuff I was super allergic to, but all the processed stuff I could eat and eat and eat. No problems there, no allergies there. And I didn't really know what certain fruits tasted like because every time I would eat them, I would have to immediately throw up or use my EpiPen or something. So I didn't realize what fruits I really liked until my gut healed and my overall health improved. So you're so used to like artificially like natural flavorings, which is crap. You're so used to that, then when you taste the real thing, either you're thrown off by it or you don't even know what a real apricot tastes like. You know, you don't even know what season it's in because when you go to the grocery store, there are no seasons in the grocery store, right? Does anyone know when apricots are in season? Jackie?
You got me on that?
Their season just ended. Their season just, it's a stone fruit and it comes around the same time like the, peaches and stuff, yep. So it just ended. So yeah, so just stuff that you should know. What does your food actually taste like? How was it actually grown? Hopefully not raised, but if it was raised, how was it raised? Because that matters, okay? But preferably the foods we're talking about in here is how was it grown? Was it grown in organic soils without the pesticides, herbicides, insecticides? And what does it actually supposed to taste like versus the natural flavorings that you've become accustomed to? Okay, so hopefully we've hit that point home a little harder so when we do our final, memory recall lesson, we'll do a little bit better on that. Yeah.
What's wrong with the natural flavoring?
Because it's not actually natural. There are lots of loopholes. So when they say artificial flavoring, it's flat out poisons that are discolored, like the stuff in the cereals and all the processed goods. The natural flavorings is a huge loophole that USDA has where you can call something a natural flavoring that has no actual natural derivative. And so it's very tricky. And it's like you can go to their website and it has a huge list of all the things that are considered natural flavorings, and then you tell me if you recognize those ingredients, and then you'll understand far better. And actually, I could do a printout of that so y'all can see. So that's something to think of.
Who was it that recommended this Yuka app? Y-U-K-A. There was somebody in this class that recommended that. It is fantastic.
I'm not familiar with it.
Y-U-K-A, and what you do basically is you scan the barcode
Uh-huh.
on the food
Uh-huh.
package, and it will tell you whether it's excellent, good, poor, whatever. I mean, I've got a whole list of things that I've scanned over the past couple of weeks. Dark chocolate covered almonds are bad. Almond butter is excellent.
Huh? Oh, Ziggy. Oh, her other friend. Okay.
Yeah, so I encourage everybody to put this on their phone. It's kind of fun too. And it tells you a breakdown of the positives and the negatives.
I like that.
Y-U-K-A,
Y-U-K-A, the Yuka app.
it's a free app.
Okay, I've been trying it. And it also tells you the good stuff that you can buy to substitute for what your bad is. If you go down, it'll tell you what's the good stuff you can go to the store and buy.
Okay.
That is better than what you.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Okay, well, 20 minutes has been eaten in our class, so we're going to conclude our little lecture portion, but I have to give you all some news. So our last class, remember, our last was supposed to end June 30th, and then the funding was cut, and we are ending April 30th. Well, I don't know if you all heard on the news last week that the Arts and Science Council has been defunded by the city legislature. So I don't know when this class is coming back. We are looking for alternative funding sources, but after April 30th, this class won't be anymore. So that's one, we just found that out. And that's not just my class, it's all the classes. So all the dance classes that my husband runs and anybody else who's part of the Arts and Science Council, it was all kaput last week.
Thank you, City Council.
So what they said they've done, that they've, the city, because there's been some issues, there were some issues before where they're saying they were not fairly giving out the money to minorities, I hate that word, but to minorities, and there are lawsuits and all kinds of stuff, so they're not giving it to the Arts and Science Council anymore to manage. Now they have, the city's gonna manage it themselves, they've hired some executive to take it over, and then they'll do the self-funding, but they haven't told us if that goes back to all the little programs or if it just goes to like the Charlotte Symphony and the Charlotte Ballet, if it just goes to those things. Now we don't know, so we haven't been informed. But going forward, there's not an option to apply for the class, this particular class again. So I just want to let you all know that. So we have 7 more Sundays together before our journey, temporarily ceases. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure you all aware of that, because I know some of you all were writing letters to them saying, please make sure you approve the class. So now that's all for naught. And the person you were writing, she bowed out gracefully about 2 weeks ago and left. So, and she hasn't been replaced yet. So just so you're aware, okay? We're still grateful for everything the Arts and Science has done for the community. They are awesome. So hopefully with this new change, something better is coming. Okay, but until we know, I'll send it out in the newsletter. So if I have your email address, you'll get in the newsletter. So the second I know, y'all will know. Okay, and I'll post it on my social medias as
Is
well.
the whole council going away?
Yeah.
Ocean Science Council is dissolved.
They're no longer funded. That's how they put it.
Yeah.
They're no longer funded. Yeah. So that's where we are with that. And then when we leave class today, like I promised you a couple weeks ago, I did the recipe book for everything for this class. So all the West African recipes and all the South Asian recipes are in this cookbook. They're up here. I've also got some magnesium oil because some of y'all asked about that, and the sea moss is in the refrigerator. So if you all want some of that, more than welcome to. If you don't, it's all good. And after our kind of transition week today, we will be going into the Caribbean recipes to end us out. So today is I am working on a Caribbean dish. That's why I say I've been working on it, but it's not for Southeast Asian dishes. Yeah, it's for the Caribbean dishes because Caribbean and West African lent itself easier for me with the okra than the Southeast Asian dishes. I didn't see dishes that I liked that I could think y'all would like. So anyway, as I said, I've been working on it. So that's where we are. All right, so we're going to start off. We have, and Karen, don't shoot me now. We're doing an orange beet salad today. I think you might like it. I'm going to start with just making that. So I think everything probably gets served around the same time. We're going to make the salad really quick. It's very easy. And then we're going to make these raspberry almond thumbprint cookies with the chia seed jam or with this apricot, whatever that is. We can do that. And then we're going to end it with the shepherd's pie. And our shepherd's pie is very special today because one of the ingredients is from Mike's garden, his beautiful sage. So it is, I have been using it pretty much every time I cook. It's awesome. It's way better than the store-bought. Maybe because I just know it came from you. So we're doing that today. It's a little bit of a labor of love. It's more of an intermediate recipe because most of the recipes doing here are kind of dump and goes, as you all know, so that it can encourage you all to get in the kitchen and make the recipes. But today, it's going to take a little effort, okay? So it's a comforting dish. This is on the indulgent side, okay? So we talked about staples and indulgences. You want to make sure that when you're eating healthy, all the recipes we have in here, or 90% of the recipes we have in here are healthy and super healthy, that nutritionist approved. That you're eating at least 80% of your staple, that's the staple of your diet. And then 20% or less are indulgences, okay? Just don't let your indulgence become your staples. That's where people fall off, okay? So we have two totally staple dishes today and one that I'm gonna err on the side of indulgences because I'm using, well, for you all, for all the number of people, I have to use a little bit more salt than I'm comfortable with, and I'm using a lot of butter. But there's still a lot of vegetables and all that, but still it's on the indulgent side. I could have made it even healthier, but I've never done this particular protein in here. We've done most of the proteins. So the shepherd's pie meats filling today, you can do it with Beyond Meat. I've done it like that before. That's super indulgent. I would prefer to do it with lentils and chickpeas. It's very delicious, but today we're going to do it with textured vegetable protein, and it comes up just like meat. I have an organic one, and I will show you how that goes. But with that, we're going to start with this orange beet salad. And what really makes the salad to me is the dressing. And this is one of the only other oil-based dressings I have. Everything else is oil-free. And what I'm using for the beets today, and hopefully the person who hates beets in the class will like it or tolerate it, I'm using these steamed and peeled baby beets. The baby beets are not as earthy as full-grown mature beets. And the fact that they've already been steamed and peeled is a big savings, okay? So it's worth it. This is in the produce section, usually right beside the edamame and tofu, all on that whole section where you see, basically where you find tofu, you find all the other healthy stuff. So it's usually right there. I'm gonna pass these around. Now, they don't have an organic version yet, okay? That's why you gotta eat healthy and get the stuff out. So I have looked and looked, but I have not found an organic one yet. Okay. All right. So just so you wouldn't be bored, I went ahead and sliced up 2 boxes of those beets, and I segmented some orange slices. I didn't think you all need to watch me do that and be bored. Okay. Can y'all see? These were clementines, but you can use the one I made the first time. I used navel. You can use cara. whatever citrus you like. And also you could add grapefruit into it. Like when Damon likes grapefruit, I actually really don't like grapefruit, but grapefruit would be a great addition to this because we're doing it with arugula. And so arugula, who remembers what type of vegetable arugula is? It is a green vegetable, yes. It is typically used for salads, yes. What type of vegetable is it? It's not a root vegetable, no. I think I heard someone.
They said it. I just said it out loud.
What did you say, Nicole?
Cruciferous.
Ding, 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 ding. Absolutely. And what can you all tell me about cruciferous vegetables? I got one. Which is a good thing. Yes, yeah. What else do you all recall? We've talked about cruciferous vegetables many times in here. What do you all recall? So that's got to be on the next memory recall game, I see. Okay. Refresher course. Okay, we'll do a refresher course. But this is one of the cancer-fighting properties. It has sulforaphane in there. It has great fiber. It's more nutrient dense than other vegetables, particularly arugula. And arugula has this peppery, slightly bitter kick to it that you really need. And particularly in this country, a lot of people get plenty of sweet. Hey, how are y'all doing? Plenty of sweet and not enough bitter. Bitter is a flavor that you want in your life, okay? The bitter, especially when you get it in your tongue and it hits your gland at the back of your mouth before you swallow, that helps fire up your digestive enzymes. It helps clear out your gallbladder. It helps, that's exactly what the bitter does. And so when people start having those kind of issues, you already know they're not eating enough bitter greens and things in their life because they wouldn't have those kind of issues they were. So that's something to keep in mind. Yes, and when you say you don't like bitters, you're not used to it. It's an acquired taste if you're used to sweet and sour and all that, but you really need to have that bitter in your life. Okay. I'm going to just start with the 2 here. I may not need this third one. We can always go back and add it. All right, so our fancy little vinaigrette we're making, it is dump and go. All right. I love it. Okay. I already juiced 2 oranges and zested 2 oranges because, again, I didn't think y'all need to watch me do that. Y'all know how to do that. Okay. Now, for the dressing, somebody follow along the recipe and tell me how much of what we need. Oh, okay. I guess I'm on my own, huh? That's what I'm hearing. I'm on my own. Okay, y'all left me hanging today. Okay. So this is the one we're going to use a little bit of olive oil. This comes out very slowly. And I'm doubling this recipe for you all. Okay, so it would just be 2 tablespoons. And you're at 3. To tell me the ingredients for the dressing, the right amount, so I put the right amount in. 2 to 1. All right, so we got the olive oil in there. I think that was about 4. How much maple? Okay, so I need to do a tablespoon and a half. Okay. And how much? Our special ingredient is this champagne vinegar. It's really nice. It's a very clean, crisp, well, what do they say? They say it's light and crisp floral aromas with a delicate finish, and I fully agree. So I just play with different vinegars and stuff. I saw this, and I was like, let's try it. This particular one I got at Publix, and I've seen it at Harris Teeter as well.
Oh, okay. Champagne vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
Does apple cider vinegar count as bitter?
No. That would be more on the sour side. Bitters, you would need to like drink like sarsaparilla, like more your herbs. Your herbs are going to be the bitters. Okay, how much vinegar? All right. And then salt and pepper, right? Now I pulled out the salt. Oh, it's because it's in my face as per usual. How much salt? Okay. And then, what, a quarter teaspoon of pepper? Okay. And always use fresh cracked whenever you can, because you can actually taste the flavor of the peppercorns versus that stuff that comes in the can and it tastes just like heat and no flavor. So that's it, right? Yep, but for the dressing. And then we're just going to shake, 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 shake.
Do you ever not put the maple syrup because you have fresh squeezed orange juice in it?
No, because this orange juice is not sweet in here, the fresh squeeze. You don't have to, but it balances out with the vinegar. Yeah, it's not like a sweet dressing because it's only like a teaspoon or so in here. All right, and I'm going to just do a quick taste test. Oh, Devon, I need a. Thank you, just one, thank you. That's good. Just need a hair more pepper and salt. All right. And we're good. So when you shake it vigorously like this, when you have like the oil and water, this is what is emulsifying it. So you want to make sure you get your arm workout in for the day. Okay, and now you can see how that's nice and emulsified. Y'all can see that? Yes. Okay, I can never tell if I'm aiming right. All right, and to finish off this awesome salad, very simple salad, make some space. Our crunch factor are some pistachios. You could also use walnuts. And just adds a nice crunch. And then, why do we also need to add fat of some sort when we eat greens? Who recalls? Ooh, y'all are failing miserably. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me refresh y'all again. We have water-soluble vitamins and we have fat-soluble vitamins. So one of the key vitamins when you see anything green is going to be vitamin K, and K is a fat-soluble vitamin. Vitamin A, that's in the beets, is fat-soluble. Vitamin D is fat-soluble. So vitamins A, D, E, and K, for you to fully absorb it, you need to consume it with some type of fat. Okay? So I'm a person that I usually eat my salads dry without dressing. So the pistachios would be the fat, so that when I'm eating it, it could be absorbed. But when you add the dressing, because we have some olive oil in here, you have the fat as well. So whenever you're eating a salad, make sure there's some type of whole fat source so that you can absorb all the nutrients, because they're not all water soluble. The fat soluble ones are needed. Okay? So now I'm just going to do this. We don't want to overdress the salad, because I might end up putting the other thing in here. Let me see. My whole life I always ate them dry. I like to taste the flavor of it without it being masked. And so most people eat salads to mask the flavor and put the salad dressing. I like the flavor of arugula by itself. I don't think it needs anything. But sometimes I do like my kale salad, because I just really like that. I'll eat that one dressed, but I typically don't. Okay. Think it's gonna be enough for everybody? Or should I add the other one in? Yeah, okay. You mind opening it up? Let's see, can y'all wait till the end or y'all wanna go ahead and taste this? Okay. Open that up before the end. And for the new folks here, I see 4 new faces or 6 new faces. Welcome. This is my husband, so he's not some random stranger. Okay. So I make sure everybody's aware.
And sort of remind everybody, please bring their own eating utensils and plates, please.
Yes, Mike had made the great suggestion several months ago, so we're not throwing away these recycled plates and stuff every time. If you want to bring your own Tupperware and your own plates to eat, it will really help out a lot. We've had some folks like Karen here who has donated plates for you all to use for the class. Like I said, our funding got cut drastically, so all that stuff really does help. But also, if you have stuff you want to take home, you'll have your own Tupperware, and you don't have to worry about that. And if you forget, we have you, but it's preferred if you could bring your own dishes and stuff and flatware. That's preferred. Okay, well, I have put my love into this, my energies in this. So you all, y'all should feel it, okay? All right. That's what you have to do. We talked about eating with your hands and how you're transferring the energy. So now, my lovely husband, go ahead and serve you all because I know y'all stay more engaged when you have something in your mouth. So, they all supposed to wait till the shepherd's pie comes to eat that with the salad. But that's okay. That's okay.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
When you cook the chia seeds,
Yes.
are they won't lose their shape, they're gonna stay always be the little seeds in anything you make it with, or will they disintegrate?
They'll never disintegrate. They'll become gelatinous. They won't be crunchy. The longer you let it soak, the more liquid it'll absorb, and so it won't have that crunchiness to it. But if you don't let it sit long enough, it'll have a little crunch to it. But it'll always be pearl, like tapioca.
That's what I did. I made one of the recipes, and they were still out there.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, we supposed to cut our chia seeds, are you using that just to make it gelatinous, or is it also to add to the crunchiness of the raspberry?
I'm adding it to make it a jam. Otherwise, it would just be a raspberry puree.
So what can I found out I was allergic to chia
Yes,
seeds.
you could use flax.
Flax you could do?
You could do flax, and you could also do like a arrowroot starch.
Okay.
So the longer it sits, I normally let it sit for a second, and then it penetrates the beets in particular, and it tastes better when it sits for a little bit. But that's okay. No?
I got an extra portion, I'll do that.
You know? Okay, so while you are eating, we're going to start on our thumbprint cookies. Okay, and I did 2 versions of the recipe. So the one in my test recipe that's over here, I did a peanut butter raspberry thumbprint cookie. So that's over there. And this one I'm doing a raspberry almond, and that's because I'm using, that one I use half oat flour, half almond flour. This one I'm using all almond flour with some almond extract. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So we're going to go ahead and mix this up. This is technically a dump and go recipe, I think. For a cookie anyway. All right, since y'all not keeping me honest up here, I gotta go it alone. So we have the almond flour. So now we need 1/3 cup of maple syrup. And where did that go? Thoughts on the salad? Okay.
Beets are not very earthy.
They're not, right, the baby ones. The baby ones. Only eat baby beets? Okay. But you know what's good? When you're eating in real life, you want to eat your salad first. because that's going to give you the enzymes to break down the food that's going to come next. So a lot of people might eat it later. So if you're eating it first, it's actually a good thing. And with that 20-minute gap in between, so it's a good thing. All right, so we have the almond flour maple syrup. Now we have our almond extract.
1 teaspoon.
Thank you, Nicole. See, you came in just rocking. I like that. Everyone else is slipping. Okay.
Salad's too good.
Karen, is it still a no-go? You can.
I have the beets on side.
Have you tried the baby beet just to see?
I took a little teeny.
Okay.
I'm gonna graduate.
I thought about you. I said, she might tolerate it. Let's see.
This will be my once a year try.
Right. Okay, so now we have a half teaspoon of, what is it? Baking powder. And you actually can't omit the baking powder. It's just to make sure that it helps it be a little bit more airy. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. But that one's optional.
Did you peel the mandarins or did you get them out of like?
I peeled them. Yep. See that? And I feel like the contrast of the citrus and the beets helps with the pepperiness of the arugula. I feel like they balance really well together. My personal opinion anyway. So arugula is not like your romaine. It has a very distinct taste. It's very, very healthy. It has the bitter and the pepperiness that you need. So this is a way to help you bridge into bitter flavors and to like it. Eventually. Is what? It's too bitter? Okay, I understand. Okay, so as you all can hopefully see here, can y'all see? Okay, so you see how it's becoming kind of crumbly like sand? What we want to do is kind of mix it up until it becomes a ball. So I'm going to switch to my hands in a second. Ooh, there's leftovers. That's great. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Has anyone ever used champagne vinegar before? Okay. All right. And is this anybody's first time ever having arugula? This your first time? You ain't got a frown, Leon. That's okay. I like that about you, though. It's good for you, but hopefully, if you ate it in a different way, it will be more bitter. But the citrus really does cut through that.
I haven't gotten it yet. I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Definitely working
You're on the trail.
on it. Yeah.
You're on the trail. Okay. So it went from sand to this. Okay. Y'all can see that? Okay. So what we're going to do is now we're going to just put it into cookies. I'm going to make them a little bit smaller so I can make sure everyone gets one. Okay. So I brought a tablespoon scoop. I would normally do this with a 2 tablespoon scoop like you saw me do with the cookies last week. Yeah. And I saw how we did not have enough. So we're going to cut the portion in half, that's all.
I made a batch of those too.
Huh? Oh, you did? Okay. As long as there's some wins, that's what matters. Okay. I gotta win with Leon. He's the critic. Okay. Did you say pretty good? I didn't think I heard you right. Wow, Karen. Y'all, I don't know if y'all know a big deal, but Karen has been a lifelong beet hater. And she just said it's pretty good.
I try it once a year. Just say I don't know, I guess. But I'm out of time.
I found a recipe where you use roasted beets to make the Reuben sandwich for vegans.
That sounds interesting. Roasted beets, they come out really sweet. But there's like a beet pineapple salad that I had when we were in, I can't remember which country. It was absolutely delicious. I want to make that for you all in the summertime. Well, I guess springtime since we're ending a little bit early.
No, I come to your house.
Anytime.
I come to see you.
Anytime.
I will come to see you and Miles.
All my babies. For those that don't know, I have 3 fur babies. And they are so sweet and loving and all that. And Miles, he's the big boy of the 3. He's a whopping 19 pounds. Yeah, I have a Chihuahua and a mini Dachshund. And their names, Alexander the Great, because he's in charge of all 3 of them, the Chihuahua. Johann Sebastian after Bach, who's my favorite composer. And I don't know if you all know, my previous lives prior to this injury, I was a professional cellist. And so Bach was and is my favorite composer for cello. So I named him after that. And then Miles, my husband, named after Miles Davis, because he's a jazz bass player.
What color is your mini dachshund?
Black with a little bit of tan on him. Yeah, he's so sweet.
Long hair, red one.
Oh, those are so cute too. I love it. Yeah. Caliente. Hot. I like that. Yeah, Johan is 14 this year, but he doesn't look it. My dogs are now also vegan, and it wasn't because I was trying to impose a vegan lifestyle on the dogs. I had them on a raw diet, and my other dog that passed away, she couldn't tolerate it, and I didn't want to keep getting something different for her. So I heard about this vegan dog food. I tried it. They loved it. Did they not? And then my vet was like, I can't believe he's however old at that time, 12 years old. He doesn't look it. And I'm like, the only thing that's changed is his diet, because it's about the nutrients. It's not necessarily the source. You have to get it from you have to have the right nutrients. So that is a win. If they weren't healthy on a vegan diet, I would not impose that. But they happen to be. So I heard 3 questions at the same time.
Do you have a recipe for the vegan dog food?
Yeah, I actually have a video. One video on my channel. I'm gonna do another one because I've changed what I've done since then. But it's on my YouTube channel. And all the stuff, like when I'm cutting up my vegetables, that's their treat. So they love zucchini and carrots and celery. Like, they love it. You know, I should have one of y'all up here doing this. Y'all got me up here slated. There's peanut butter, chickpeas, a bunch of other kind of vegetables, and then they add like the taurine, the extra taurine that they need. They add other whole food vitamins and minerals to make sure they have in the proportions that they need. And there's another one that's made from like mushrooms as well. There's another brand that I use sometimes. But there are lots of vegan dog foods out there now. Okay, Aaron. Yeah, you have to get. Because see, spinach has no flavor. This has flavor. I'm a person, I want my greens to have flavor. I don't want it to taste like iceberg lettuce. It should have a personality. All right, so now I'm going to, as the name suggests, put my thumbprint in them, which my thumb is actually kind of big for these cookies. We're gonna roll with it though, right? Okay, thank y'all for working with me. It's not comfortable to do my finger. I guess I could do my finger. Let's see. Now it's a fingerprint cookie instead of a thumbprint cookie. Okay, just do this real quick. I don't want to lose y'all again. Okay. Huh? Yeah.
So for the peanut butter ones, did you do peanut butter and raspberry?
The peanut butter's in the dough. Yeah, and so it still has the same raspberry chia top.
Are you sharing those with us?
Yes, I had those as overflow cookies in case we didn't have enough. And I said, well, I'm just going to make these smaller. But these are a little smaller than I was expecting.
Peanut butter jelly things are the best.
Okay. If you get like a spoon or something, or you can scoop. All right, so the oven's already preheated. Huh? Yeah. Did any of y'all want some of this sugary poison? Yes. Yes? Y'all want me to do half and half? Okay. You gonna do the chia? It is an indulgence, as long as it's not a staple, okay? It's a delicious indulgence that's really not good for you. Okay. Per the nutritionist. Okay, we can do that. All right. Start scooping in the raspberry to those. We got some assistance here so I can go a little bit faster and get on the shepherd's pie for Mike. You gonna finish up? Okay, great. All right. Get my hands washed. Okay. All right. So these bake in the oven for just 12 minutes. So from start to finish, it's about 25 minutes to make a batch of cookies. So I think that's pretty good actually. Okay. Okay. Move this out the way. All right, our main event, our indulgence of the day. I did do a little bit before class, so we wouldn't have to wait for the potatoes to boil. So I had a 3-pound bag of Yukon Gold potatoes, which we talked about at length before. And I left the skins on for extra fiber and whatnot, because you don't have to peel these, they're very thin skinned. And I have a recipe on my channel that shows you how to do like Thanksgiving mashed potatoes. And I found a much easier way, which is why it's a little bit indulgent. I'm about to show you, because all it takes is butter and some salt. Of course not. No animals were harmed in the creating of this class. No animals were harmed. Now, I'm scaling this up for the class, okay? So I'm adding in 1 extra half cup of butter. Otherwise, it would be 1 full cup of butter and 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And when I boil the potatoes, I put like 4 or 5 garlic cloves in there. And so what we're going to do is just put this in here, and we're going to mash it up, and we're going to set it aside, and that's going to be our topping for our shepherd's pie. Now, for shepherd's pie, anyone know why it's called shepherd's pie? So it's called shepherd. What do shepherds herd? And yes. So shepherd's pie is traditionally made with lamb's meat. In the United States, when I ate shepherd's pie pre-vegan, it was with beef. And that's how I see it normally here, at least in the South. But when you eat it with beef, it's actually it's called cottage pie. So cottage pie is the same thing, but with beef. Shepherd's pie is with lamb. But since we love our animals in here, they are all on the pasture and living their best life right now, okay? Okay. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of nutritional yeast. And then you can use a regular potato masher. This is my former meat masher that has been repurposed for mashing potatoes, okay? And all we're going to do is just mash it. And then we'll add salt. Now, when you have potatoes, it requires more salt than normal. So I will put a full tablespoon of salt in here, which is why you got to have your salad. As we talked about before, the body does not work in isolation. So when we're talking about sodium, its counterpart is potassium. So if people say I'm on a low salt diet or a low sodium diet, yeah, I hear you on that. Do you want an obsessive amount of salt or sodium? No, you do not. But everything's in balance. So if you eat something like we're having today that has more salt than I normally put into recipes, you want to make sure that your potassium that you're consuming at that same meal is at least double. Double is like the bare minimum. So if you have, it should be a 1 to 2 ratio. So if you have a teaspoon of salt, you should have a full serving, 2 servings of potassium. And then really want it to be 1 to 4 in terms of potassium, but the bare minimum should be 2. So eating a great salad, a big salad, and then eating this with the added salt, it will balance out. So you won't retain water in your body. You won't have problems with it circulating or pooling in your ankles, that kind of thing. But we also talk about salt alternatives in here many times, and I use it a lot in the cooking that I do. And we have miso paste, because it's been fermented. It does not have the effects on the body that sodium has. And we also talk about dulse flakes that you all have seen in here.
What flakes?
Dulse flakes, D-U-L-S-E. It's a salt alternative. It's seaweed, basically, that's in flake form. And it has a little saltiness to it, has sodium in it. And full of minerals and protein. Full of minerals.
What are the worst foods that cause inflammation in the body?
The worst food for inflammation in the body is dairy.
Is dairy.
Dairy is the most highly inflammatory, if you want to call it a food, breast milk on the planet. Okay, it's breast milk. So, oh, you're supposed to do something with the poison they wanted. But you can do 3 with the. Huh? Oh.
That's all right, I thought almond milk and coconut milk, that's not dairy, right?
No, those are considered non-dairy.
And you had a question over there.
Do you ever use, what is it called instead of water for your boiling your potatoes? Chicken stock or vegetable stock?
I definitely don't use chicken stock. I use veggie stock. Yeah, it just adds more oomph to it, for sure. No, so dairy milk is anything that comes from a cow or a goat, like anything that comes from an animal are going to be your milks. So anything that is not coming from an animal is a non-dairy milk. Where's the cracked pepper in my face?
I tell you 2 of the best milks that you can buy is that side. It only has 2 ingredients in it.
Go ahead, Jackie.
Nut and water.
Somebody set their timer for 12 minutes, please.
You can buy Public has it. Believe it or not, Compare Food has it. Yeah, I was shocked when I saw it in there. But they only carry the honor. I like the cashew.
Okay.
And, Earth Fan has it.
I found that Harris Teeter, not all, but I found it.
Yeah, Harris Teeter carries it.
Okay, y'all. So I brought the heavy guns today. I brought. So I'm going to let this go ahead and start to preheat. And so set this to the side. So while we're doing that, we're going to start with our I don't even like to say meat, but our filling. We're going to start with that. And so like I've mentioned to you all before, today, because I haven't used it in this class, and I just want you all to have proper exposure to different things. We've done the walnut meat, we've done the sunflower seed meat, tofu meat, tempeh meat. We've done lots of different types of meats in here. And we still have more to show. So now today we're going to do TVP. So TVP stands for textured vegetable protein. This one is made from soy. This one is made from peas, textured pea protein. If you feel like you've never had it before, if you've been to a fast food restaurant, you've had it before, okay? Because those 100% all beef burgers have TVP, okay? That's what they use them for, like in school lunch programs, any kind of, when they talk about the meat's not, when they try to advertise like, oh, this particular burger is all Angus beef, right? Because the other ones aren't, it's because they have TVP, okay? It's the same kind of texture and all that, and it's a cheap meat product where they can add bulk without adding more beef to it, which will cost them more money. Okay, so something to be aware of. So it takes on the texture, the flavor of whatever you season it with, and you'll see it look like ground mince or ground beef here.
Well, let me ask you, could you use the curls that we use like a lot?
Yes, but for shepherd's pie, because it's normally what they consider a mince meat, I wouldn't use it for that. But I think I'm gonna bring the curls back for our Caribbean section.
Yeah, please do. I got 2 bags of them. I made some spaghetti. I used marinara sauce and put the curls in there. It was good.
That sounds good. I like them barbecued. No, sir. That's what they want to tell you so that you keep eating chicken and fish and beef and all that. You want to make sure it's organic because most of the soy grown in the country is for animal feed and it's been genetically modified. Why does my stuff keep walking away? Okay. That's what you don't want. So I'm going to use half pea and half soy protein. And so what we're going to do is we're going to rehydrate this. So right now it looks like nothing. It looks like some really unappealing cereal. And it's going to transform. Just you watch. Okay, assuming our oven participates. Oh, wrong one. Okay. All right, so somebody keep me honest on the recipe here. What am I doing with the TVP? I'm going to add in some stock, correct? Y'all cannot be faded on me already. Thank you. Who was that, Nicole again? Look, she's showing y'all up. Y'all been here for weeks, okay? Y'all can't get comfortable on me now. Come on. Excuse me? This is no chicken bouillon. So it tastes like chicken broth without the chicken. Because chicken by itself tastes like nothing. It's just those same seasonings. This is by Better Than Bouillons, one of my favorite bouillons. They have the vegetable base, they have the no beef base, the no chicken base, garlic base, onion base, sofrito base. They have a lot.
What's the brand?
Better Than Bouillon.
Better than bouillon.
Yes,
That's been out maybe about a couple of years, I think.
it has. So I think it's 1.5 cups of water to 2 cups of TVP. Is that correct? Is that correct? Okay, y'all fire. I'm asking Nicole. Nicole, is that correct? How much vegetable broth is needed with the TVP?
A cup.
Oh, whoops. Okay. Well, might have to add in more. Okay. And I'm adding this and a little bit of olive oil to it, just to hydrate it.
Yes.
Okay.
Over medium heat.
There we go. Somebody's on the ball. Okay.
I gotta stay awake.
I'm trying to keep y'all engaged because y'all fade until the next serving comes through. Okay. Huh? Yeah, probably so. That's okay. All right, so watch it start to transform, and then when we add all the seasonings, the color will change as well.
Do you
So-
ever use beef better than bouillon for this one instead of chicken?
Yeah, I just ran out. So all that was is what I had left before I had to go buy ingredients. I had to buy so many ingredients for this class. I had to test the recipes, and then when I run out, I just like, what's the next best thing? I could have used vegetable or any of them. So when I'm making these recipes here, I'm never trying to duplicate the flavors of meat. One, because I do not remember what it tastes like. Two, because for most of y'all in here who still eat it, you all will say this doesn't taste like that, and I'm not trying to fool you all. This is just shepherd's pie without an innocent lamb. Okay, that's all it is.
What is the TVP you're using specifically?
Bob's Red Mill.
Bob's Red Mill.
What's
Oh,
the
wow,
what's
okay.
the non-soy one that you have?
I think it's called Plant Boss, and they have them. I've seen that at Harris Teeter, Publix, Organic Marketplace in Gastonia, and Whole Foods. No, I think we're good.
They get ready to open a second Sprout.
They need to, 'cause I don't like driving way down.
Okay, you're gonna put it Steel Creek. It's gonna be in the old,
That's still a little hype, but that's less of a hype.
it's, where the old, Earth Fair used to be, somewhere in Steel Creek.
Oh, they should put one up in Huntersville too then.
Huh? Okay, anything else for the TVP? I think I'm done with this, right? Yeah? Hello? Barbara? You okay? Okay. So I'm turning this off. Hopefully I can get y'all back engaged. I'm turning this off now. I'm starting with that now. Okay, so our TVP is pretty much rehydrated, so we're good there. I'm going to add just a dash. Now, when I made this at home for the test, I used the chili oil to have some kick to it, but I didn't do that for y'all. No.
We need the heat.
I know the palettes we have in here, so I was like, let me just keep it authentic. Shepherd's pie is not traditionally spicy, so I'm gonna be good.
Did you bring me some red pepper flakes then?
All right, so we're going to start off with some mushrooms. The mushrooms add depth of flavor. So all the ingredients we're adding here are things you would put into a meat if you were doing that. And again, because I'm just trying to keep it true to what, I'm just using the same stuff you would do for a shepherd's or cottage pie, just without the actual meat, okay? So mushrooms add that depth of flavor. And here I'm using cremini mushrooms. You can use whatever one you like, okay? And we're gonna let this kind of shrink down just a little bit. And I put in this almost tablespoon of oil, but going forward, if it starts to stick or dry out, I'll just be putting in splashes of water just to keep everything loose and moving. What's the next thing I'm gonna add? Okay, so carrots, onions, and celery. What is that called? It's a type of trinity of one of the many national trinities, but this particular trinity that we use in the United States is called what? It has a French name, but we use it in American cooking, huh? Mirepoix. Ding, 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 ding. She gets an extra cookie. Extra cookie for you. Yes, a mirepoix. So it's 1 part celery, 1 part carrot, 2 parts onion. And that's the basis for most American dishes. And again, that's from the French cuisine. You have the Italian ones, you have the West African one. Do you all recall what the West African trinity consists of? Red onion, red bell pepper, and you're so close. It's something else that's red. Tomato. Okay, y'all redeeming yourselves. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Now, I did a total cheat and bought the mirepoix because I have cut enough onions in my life. So, and if you just look through the side here, you see how it's double the onion. Okay? So that's how you know. All right, so you see that our mushrooms have completely shrunk. And you all should be able to smell it as well. All right? So we're building our base levels of flavor. All right. Get this going. And we're going to cook this right in the oven. So I was like, this should be big enough for everybody in the class. At home, when you make it, the slightly scaled down version, you can put it in a 9x13 pan if you don't have a gigantuous stainless steel pan. So we're gonna let that sweat. So what's next? What's next? Somebody tell me what's next. Sage thyme, and then what else? Okay. So y'all should be starting to smell this. Okay. How long? Is it 5 minutes or 8 minutes for this? Thank you.
It says cook for 8 minutes.
See, the MVP of the day. I gotta bring you a gift for next week, Nicole. You're winning. That's the timer. Let's see how we're looking. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 more minutes.
So we can let those cool completely. So you can put them on this. All right, starting to look okay over here. Now the next thing we're going to do, so we're going to add in our star ingredient, which is the chopped up sage from his garden, along with some fresh thyme. And then just because I had it, I put in like 1 little strip of oregano and 1 little strip of rosemary. You can use dried herbs. If you do use dried herbs, don't just throw them in there. You need to do like this with your hand to release those volatile oils so you can smell it. Then you'll actually be able to taste it. If you just pour it in there, it's just flat, okay? And I brought, in case anybody wanted to try that, if you smell, you can smell it. It smells like rosemary, but when you do like this with your fingers, then it's a totally different intensity. So if you want to try it, feel free. I'll pass it around. But adding fresh herbs to your dishes elevates it. It's like restaurant quality when you start using fresh herbs. So I highly encourage you to do that. It's something you can grow on your windowsill, because everything in the grocery store is going this way. You can grow some stuff yourself and save you some money. Yeah, you just, yeah. Okay. So now I'm adding in the sun-dried tomatoes and garlic. See, we're building flavor, we're building flavor. Huh? It's not traditional, but you can. That's a 2 minutes, okay. Thank y'all. Yeah. And we're gonna let them cool completely on the cooling rack. Yeah. Okay, what's next? What's next? Okay, now we're gonna start adding our liquids. That's more Vegemite, but yeah, it's from there too. We're gonna talk about that. All right, so I'm adding the TVP now. And we'll talk about why we're gonna use some of these ingredients. So we had talked before about glutamates in foods, and that's what gives it that umami, that thing that's like, oh my God, it tastes so good. That's called umami. And the technical term for that are glutamates. That's why when you have something that has MSG in it, has glutamates in it, and it tastes really good, even though there's some other issues with MSG. But that's why people usually use it as a flavor enhancer. So when we use things like a Marmite, it's a yeast extract, very much in the same vein as nutritional yeast. This is deactivated yeast. So a lot of your hamburgers that you have in places have that in it to make it more meaty flavor. So since we are essentially mimicking that flavor profile, I added a little bit of that, but it is optional. Okay?
Did you just use nutritional yeast instead of Marmite, or do you use Marmite in a lot of your dishes to mimic the flavor?
I can't say I use it a lot. I did it for this because I'm trying to be as authentic to shepherd's pie. I use the nutritional yeast just to add a depth of flavor to the mashed potatoes. I'm not putting it into this. All right, so this is Marmite. On its own, I cannot tell you that it tastes great, in my personal opinion. and you don't need very much of it. It's kind of salty, and it's gelatinous. It's viscous, rather. It's quite viscous, see? And this is what they use in a lot of your cow meats, or what do y'all call it? What is it called? Hamburger meats or whatever. I'm going to add a splash of water. All right. So we're getting there. I didn't eat a lot of shepherd's pie coming up. I didn't really have shepherd's pie until I moved to Boston, and they have a very strong Irish community. And that's when I saw shepherd's pie everywhere. And I was like, I guess I've been missing out in my Nigerian bubble. Not really. Guess I've been missing out, because they were like, you've never had shepherd's pie? I'm like, what is it?
Is that where you went to culinary school too, in Boston?
No, it was in Northern California in Graystone, Culinary Institute of America, Graystone, and undergrad at East Carolina University. But,
You went to ECU too?
Pirate Pride, who said it?
Me.
Nicole, you are winning, okay? Oh, yes. Winning. Pirate Pride hard. Yes, I got my undergrad and my second master's degree from East Carolina in cello performance. Yep. All right, so I am adding in some Worcestershire sauce. I always mess it up. In Massachusetts, they call the town spelled Worcester. They call it Worcester. And that always confuses me. So this first part that looks like Worcester, they pronounce it Worcester in Massachusetts. So Worcestershire sauce. Okay? This is the vegan one because the regular one has what in it?
Sodium.
Well, sodium is not vegan. It has anchovies in it. Okay? And I'll prefer for the anchovies to stay in the ocean and do their anchovy business. Okay? That's my personal preference. So it tastes the same, just without the dead fish in it. So they are right beside the regular Worcestershire sauce. So there's two brands. This is Simply Organic, and there's one by Annie's that's vegan as well. And like I said, they're right side by side. So it's just your choice what you want to do with it. And so as you see, that already kind of changed the color. All right, what else I'm supposed to add? How much wine? Okay, now from culinary school, when you cook with wine, it should be the wine that you're going to drink. Okay, I would be crucified for using cooking wine in a class, but we have a dry house for personal reasons, so we're using it. When you use alcohol anyway, it burns off. The alcohol itself burns off. Okay, well, I'm going to finish it. It's wine that doesn't have the alcohol content, and if you were to drink this, it is disgusting. It would not make you want to drink it. So, you said half a cup?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do put a little bit more because I'm scaling this up. Adding to our depth of flavor as well. What else am I supposed to put in this? I know some other stuff. Soy sauce, a little dash of vinegar, and vegetable broth. Okay. Is it 2 tablespoons of soy sauce? Yeah. Okay. I have to put in a little bit of salt because I only had 2 tablespoons left in that one. And then was it a teaspoon of vinegar?
2
Tablespoons? Let's see. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Okay, I need y'all to wake up, be engaged. I need y'all to stay with me, stay with me. Okay, we're almost there. You take some sea moss, Jackie. Wake up. Give you some energy.
I got some open already in the house. She had wonderful sea moss.
Oh, thank you.
Best piece of sea moss ever used.
I appreciate that. Another labor of love. And if you all can see, does that start to look kind of like a mincemeat to you all?
Yeah.
All right. What else was I supposed to add? You said,
Peas.
yes. Peas are going to go in last. So I normally use like a frozen pea, and I put that in last because traditional shepherd's pie, everything's kind of mushy because everything's been cooked. And so I like it if the vegetables still have some kind of body to them. That's a personal preference.
You don't have to put peas in.
Well, I brought them.
Please tell me you got like the little sewer, not the big ones. I'm picky.
Yeah. And they're not frozen anymore because they've been sitting out since I got here. But let's go ahead and add those. Make sure it's in water. Okay. All right. Some color. They were out of like regular peas, and I got there, so I got peas and carrots. All right. Isn't that pretty, that contrast? Okay, and it looks authentic now. It looks legit. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick taste test, and then we're going to put our mashed potatoes atop. I might have to speed it up for y'all the way y'all acting today, because it's supposed to bake for 30 minutes. What ideally should happen is, yeah, I'm going to have to speed it up for y'all. What ideally should happen when I put the mashed potatoes on top, I like to take like a fork and make like craggly lines in it. And then that's the picture you see there that's not well lit, but just took it real quick. And you put it under the broiler or you bake it, and then the top becomes like crispy, those ridges. But the way you are, I don't know if we're going to have time for that to happen. But that will be the intention, okay? Okay. We'll probably just bake it for a few seconds, a little bit, just to let it solidify. This unit is, they need to replace it. It really gives a lot of issue. Okay, I know I need to add in some salt and a little bit of pepper. All right. Then we're going to taste and see. All right, y'all have any questions? Have y'all ever made shepherd's pie at home? No. No? Okay. All right, where's my spoon? Okay. All right. All right. Okay. That's good. Okay. Huh? All right. So now we're going to go to our next step. We're going to put our filling in a nice even layer. And then we're going to put our mashed potatoes on top. We're going to try to brown it. If y'all are patient enough, I guess I'm going to pass out the cookies prematurely and keep y'all with me. Huh? Yeah. No, I'm going to use this. See, the Yukon Gold potatoes make it look like it's already buttery just because of the color. All right, so this is our last little comforting kind of winterish meal since we're entering spring. in about a week or so. We'll have some springtime recipes. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we let this bake in the oven for 30 minutes. And then once it's baked, we put it on the broiler for like 4 minutes to get the top browned. And then it's ready. But depending on where we are, we might prematurely do it before it's fully browned. Okay? All right. Ooh, it's hot. It really is. Okay. Woo. Done. Thank you. So it's 4:30, so technically at 5 o'clock it should be done. We can just let it sit for 10 minutes. So in the interim, if you all want to try these thumbprint cookies, just so I can keep y'all with me, and I'll quiz y'all some more. Okay. So to recap today from our lessons learned, what did you learn today from the nutrition facts label? Is there anything that you didn't know, or is there anything that was cleared up for you that you'll be looking for going forward?
Zero trans fat.
Yes. Or greater. Yes. And you weren't here before, so when they say 20% of the daily value and they say it's excellent, that's of the baseline to keep you alive. It's not if you have any kind of issue that you're trying to resolve. It's just like the bare minimum they have for vitamin D is to prevent you from getting rickets. The bare minimum they have for iodine is to make sure you don't have a goiter on your thyroid. It's the bare minimum. The vitamin C minimum is to make sure you don't get scurvy. So you want to do far and above the daily value. So it needs to at least be excellent. Serving size. Uh-huh. When you say a thing of vitamin D, you're talking about a vitamin D supplement specifically? If you're taking a vitamin D supplement, that's different because it's intended to supplement your normal vitamin D intake, which would be sun exposure. So you can take, it depends on the IU. I'm on camera. I can't give you, I cannot give you that kind of advice because I'm not your healthcare practitioner. However, most Americans need a minimum of 4,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. So if you're taking a supplement, you want to make sure you're staying in that range. You don't want to take too much, but you want to make sure you're getting enough, especially when it's still cold outside or we're not getting enough sun exposure, because you definitely want to supplement with vitamin D. 5,000 is fine. And it's based on weight and height and all that too, but the general guideline is 4,000 IUs a day is what is needed for Americans. Yeah, I think 5,000 is sufficient. I'm being recorded. That's a good minimum. Yeah. But because you are darker skinned, you're going to need more. So the darker our skin is, the more melanin we have, the more we need vitamin D. So again, we had talked about this before. Vitamin D, the trade-off. So for example, Mike and I go outside in the sun. He's going to get his vitamin D a lot quicker because he has the least amount of melanin so he can absorb it a lot faster. But the trade-off is that he can get skin cancer a lot more easily than I can because the melanin is protection in our skin. So because we have that protection in our skin, we need to be in the sun longer. We are sun people. So particularly black people, when they're trying to avoid the sun and trying not to get darker for whatever reason that's about, you need to be in the sun, okay? And then when you're sitting in the house all day and putting umbrellas trying to avoid the sun, this is why black people, particularly in the United States, have ridiculously low vitamin D levels. It's linked to obesity, it's linked to chronic depression, it's linked to all kinds of autoimmune diseases by having very low levels of vitamin D. So the best thing to do is to get plenty of sun exposure. Okay, good. Get plenty of sun exposure. Make sure when you're outside, at least 40% of your skin is being shown, because we need that. We need that way more than someone that does not have melanin. Yes?
And also, if you're a person that work at night, which is what I was. I was in at night, work, morning, slept all throughout the day till it was time to go back to work. Vitamin D, it was in the toilet. I was put on like 50,000 to get it back up real quick.
It's very, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's imperative that we get plenty of sun. It is imperative for, yeah, go ahead.
Don't you get skin cancer if you have too much sun?
You won't, he will.
Yeah, the doctor told me you don't even think about it.
It is extremely rare. It's extremely rare. We need the sun. Like, we should not be using sunscreen. Sunscreen is not for us. Okay, we have the melanin blocks the harmful UV rays. He doesn't have that protection. I'm not trying to call, but you're the only fair-skinned person in the class right now. He doesn't have that protection in his skin. We have that protection in our skin. We don't need to be put on sunblock. We don't need that, okay? We need the sun, and we have to sit in the sun longer. So, like, you're going to, for Aaron, he needs to be in the sun for at least 40 minutes a day to get his natural vitamin D, where he would need it to be in there for 7 or 8 minutes in the sun to get the same amount of vitamin D, because of the difference in skin tone, because he has way more melanin than Mike has. So we need that. Yes. The sun is our friend. Yes, ma'am.
Also, if you're going to be in the sun, please wear shades to protect your eyes. Please.
So I think I went off on a little tangent there. Okay, thoughts on the thumbprint cookies? Okay. And Leon said thumbs up. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. And you saw there's only 5 ingredients. Okay. Okay. And even with the chia seeds, so I thought that I like raspberries. You can do this with strawberries. I have a little of a minor reaction to strawberries. So you can do it with strawberries, blueberries, any fruit that you like, you can do this with. And again, if you don't want to make your own chia seed jam that takes less than 5 minutes from start to finish, and you want to buy something, please read the ingredients and make sure the first ingredient is not sugar. Huh? Yes, and I'll put it on the website too. I made it in class before, and I was like, well, they've already seen that. You take the regular cartons of in this case, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, whatever fruit you like. Put it in a pan over medium heat. 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, if you need it, and that's what I use for this. If you need it a little bit sweeter, then add 2 tablespoons. But 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and over that medium heat, I use this to kind of mash down the raspberries and let it kind of just warm up. As it warms, the chia seeds expand, and then becomes the gelatinous jam that you're looking for, and that's literally it. It lasts in the fridge for about 4 to 5 days. It lasts longer, but that's when it's best, within 4 to 5 days. And then you've got a very healthy jam without all the crap, right? You're actually getting the fiber, the soluble fiber that we've talked about. You're getting the omega-3s that we're talking about, right? You don't have to eat the fish. You eat what the fish eat to get the omega-3s, right? So you're getting all that, and it's in a cookie, all right? Which is made with almond flour. You saw there's no wheat in this. It's all almond flour, so you're getting the nuts. You're getting the vitamin E, all right, which is fat soluble. So the chia seeds in there help you absorb the vitamin E that's in the almond flour. And then you have a little bit of maple syrup. You saw for that whole 2 cups, I use 1/3 cup of maple syrup for the whole batch. And they're just sweet enough, in my opinion.
Can I use my oat flour?
Yes. So like I said, these peanut butter ones were made with oat flour and almond flour. It does have it has an oat flavor that will come through, whereas which is not bad. It just, you have to know that. Whereas the almond flour is more like a shortbread flavor, most kind of. Right, but there's no butter in it. There's none of that in there. There's no peanut butter in this. There's peanut butter in this. Almond flour, maple syrup. I put in optionally. It was like a half teaspoon of baking powder, and I put in half a teaspoon of almond extract. And my, if you go to my website, the recipes are listed there, so you don't have to, if you don't want to write it down. Or if you want to get the cookbook, it's in there as well. And then it's 50 recipes in there, and it's all the recipes we've done from October till today are all in there, so that you all can just have it in one spot if you needed that. And so it's been 10 minutes now. Do y'all want to take it out prematurely and eat it as is? Yeah? She said yeah. I feel that way, but you see the restlessness in the room. Okay, let me entertain you all some more then.
And your book retails for how much?
This is $20. Yep. And those are 10. The magnesium oil spray is $10. Okay. You say how? I'll walk you through the process. So I start off with distilled water and magnesium flakes. I have the high end kind that come from the Dead Sea, like they talked about, right? You let that dissolve, and that's the actual oil, because there's actually no oil in it, but when it dissolves, it becomes an oily, slick substance. And now to help with the absorption of magnesium in your body, I add in 1 tablespoon per batch of MSM, which is sulfur, because sulfur and magnesium are friends. And to make it smell nice, I add in about a half a cup or a cup, depending on the batch size, of rose water or aloe water, and then this batch is with rose water, and it helps with the stinginess, because a lot of people are so depleted in magnesium. When you spray magnesium on you, it's itchy or burny. That means you need to put a lot more on there, and to help reduce that feeling, the rose water tonifies the skin. So that's the formulation for that.
How much is it, and can I purchase?
10 and yes, of course. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Magnesium spray
Yeah.
that I use it almost every day. And I use it instead of olive oil on my legs or whatever oil I would put on my legs. Just put a lot of that on there. Do you have any more of these sprays?
But you had the big one.
I have the big one.
Yeah, I'll bring you a big one. Yeah, I didn't bring the big ones today. I had to order another. I'm waiting for those bottles to come in. That was sold out of those bottles. I just have the 4-ounce ones. You had the 10-ounce one.
And then whatever's left on my hands, I do on my face.
And for magnesium, so let's talk. Most people and most, so y'all, I'm in school to become a naturopathic doctor for the new folks in the room today. So most naturopaths or even MDs were going to tell you that you take your magnesium at night. And there's nothing wrong with taking it at night, because it's going to relax you. You're going to have a much deeper sleep. But it's really great if you take it in the morning. Why? Because it's going to relax and dilate your blood vessels. It's going to get you in your circadian rhythms in sync with the day, so that for those, especially folks who tend to be night owls, this will help to get you switched back over to where you're supposed to be, and it gets your day going. So you're calm, you're starting with a clear, level mind, you're at peace when you start your day. And you can do it at night. It's not overkill, and it absorbs through the skin. You can do both. But I would just suggest for people who are just waking up stressed and like, oh my God, you feel like you're already running late before you even get started, take a chill pill, and take a magnesium chill pill, okay? And that helps to regulate and jumpstart things, and it's really good for your cardiac health as well if you take it in the morning. So when you take supplements, it really depends on what you're taking it with. If you're taking calcium supplements, which you don't need to because you can eat it, but if you're taking calcium supplements and you take those at night, like most people will tell you to, that if you take magnesium, it's going to bind up the calcium and it won't absorb. So make sure that you're taking it at least an hour or two apart from each other if you're taking a calcium supplement. Okay?
For the CMOS, how do you make that, or have you already said that before?
I haven't described that. It's a labor of love.
Okay.
So first and foremost, the company I'm partnered with sources ethically sourced wild-crafted sea moss from St. Lucia. I picked there because their waters are the least populated by us, versus like Jamaica or some of the other Caribbean islands that constantly have boats and ships and planes always coming in there. They have the most tranquil waters. I actually can talk to the guys who go out on the boat and harvest it, and then they dry out in the sun, so you get the vitamin D in there. It actually dries naturally out in these huge, it's like the length of this, and they spread out the sea moss, and it dries for a couple weeks in the sun. And they package it and they ship it to us. So once I get the sea moss, then I've got to clean it, because it can have a fishy, earthy taste that people don't like. So the first thing you do, I have to do a wash, and then and it gets off any kind of thing because it's in the sea, okay? It gets off the particles and stuff. So it's the first wash. Then the second wash I put it in some water and I let it sit for a couple hours, and then it gets the rest of the particles out. Then I do the real soak overnight for at least 12 to 24 hours, where I soak it with key limes or limes, and that helps the vitamin C infuse in that, and it helps to reduce that fishy kind of taste to it. And I let it soak. And once it's totally soaked in the lime water, and you don't smell the ocean so strongly anymore, then I decide, okay, what flavor I'm making, and everyone's been liking this pineapple lime ginger. So I take, and the thing about when I make, and I'm not trying to hype myself up, any sea moss you take is good. Well, let me say that. I can tell you other sea mosses other than mine that I would recommend, because sea moss is really good for you because it has all the minerals. It's a multi-mineral instead of that's a whole food source versus taking it in a pill form, okay? So you don't have to take, Naija Goddess is one, get some good sea moss in your life. And you don't have to take other supplements, and it gives you energy. It prevents you from having cravings for sugars and stuff, and it's a lot of things that does. Helps with growth. It helps you with iron if your iron's low, and if you have low vitamin D, you most likely, especially if you're black, you probably have low iron as well. That's a whole separate subject. Anyway, I decide, and in my base formula, I always have organic ginger, organic lime, cayenne pepper, because cayenne is what actually drives it into the cells. The sea moss itself. It's and then it's sweetened with agave. So that's the base ingredient for all the sea moss I make, minus the ones I make that's unsweetened. And then I add the flavor. So then I add in the dried pineapple that I've done on my dehydrator sheets, the dried pineapple. I add in a whole lime that's been skinned, and a lime leaf that we had in that tempeh manis from Indonesia. And that's pretty much it. And then I had to blend the crap out of it, because I make it very concentrated. It's not the runny kind. It's very thick and concentrated. So the 1 heaping tablespoon is the equivalent of like 5 teaspoons that you get in the regular pourable kind. And that's how I make it. And then I seal it. Well, after I've sanitized the containers and all that, seal it and then refrigerate it. And then I have another batch I make that's unsweetened, that just has the sea moss and water that I use for cooking, as an egg replacer, as a thickener for gravies and stuff like that. And I keep that in the freezer. No, that's not my style. But I've never explained to, I didn't think anybody cared about that, but okay. But that's how I make it. Okay. It's a labor of love, but it's worth it. It's worth it because you really do feel a difference.
And I have a testimonial on the sea moss.
Oh.
All right, because I work out, my wife will tell you, I work out fiercely. I've been taking the sea moss when I first get out. I work out something unbelievable, and I'm not tired afterwards.
Yes, it sustains you.
Absolutely. I like drinking no coffee, nothing like that. It's just there.
It's just there.
The more I tap into it, it's there. I love it.
Thank you for that.
Send my check.
Okay, I need to send you a check for real. Thank you. Thank you for that. No, it's true. It's a great pre and post workout. There's so many things. I actually have a video coming on my channel that talks about 7 benefits of sea moss, because people keep asking me. I said, I didn't just do a video about it. I just didn't want to be like, self-promoting, but I want people to know. I want to do it in a way that is helpful. They need to know. And the other videos out there aren't the best quality, so I'm just trying to make something better to educate. And again, so if you don't get it from me, I can tell you other places that sell it, and it's great. But it's all sea moss not equal, because some people do fake sea moss where they grow in a pool. Okay, so it does not. Just like you have farm-raised fish, it's the same concept, right? You want if you're going to eat the dead animal, you want it to be in this natural habitat, not in a pool swimming in its own feces, okay? So they have sea moss that they grow in a pool versus getting it out the ocean. So that's why I said, if you have proper sea moss, it's good. If it's not proper, it's not good, because you're not going to get all those minerals and all those vitamins. And it's very important where it's sourced and how it's properly washed, and all those sanitation efforts is important, because you don't want to, those are the ones that you can get the heavy metals in your body that's not bound, and that's what you don't want. Huh? Yeah, I add bladderwrack, so that bladderwrack or burdock root to it as well, so that it has all 102 minerals that the body requires in the sea moss. So that's why you'll feel sustained energy. This is why if you're a person, particularly if you crave sugar and cakes and ho-hos and all that kind of stuff, that will be subsided or cut down. Your appetite, you won't have a strong appetite. That's why if you take it while pregnant, which you can, it can make you not want to eat as much when you need to be eating a little bit more for the baby. So it's something to be mindful of. You want to reduce you go to a teaspoon instead of a heaping tablespoon, as I recommend. Yeah, I think I talked for 20 minutes now. Yes.
What I'll say about the sea moss is I take it regularly.
Uh-huh.
I hadn't been taking it because I was out.
Can y'all hear Karen?
I was saying I take the sea moss regularly, and I've been out. And my problem that I work continually with is the sugar, right? And I'll tell you, when I take the sea moss, it diminishes my craving. I have been taking it, and I tell you, I have had a relationship with sugar here because of this last year. You know, and stuff. So
Yeah.
I noticed that makes a big impact for me. So I definitely will say that it promotes me not eating the sugar as much. Not any ho-hos.
Yeah. It's really a good thing, and it's a whole food source. I'm not anti-supplements. I actually sell supplements, but supplements be taken for a short span of time because of where you are at the moment. Is not for the rest of your life. I don't believe in taking anything for the rest of your life because you're not addressing the root cause of what the ailment is, right? You get this stuff from whole food sources that your body can absorb and knows what to do with. So if you need a boost initially with supplements, there's no problem, but it should not be 5 years later you're taking the same supplements, all right? Some people just want to take a supplement every day because this society likes to pop pills, okay? I actually have sea moss capsules too, but I don't like to promote that as much, but yeah, see, it's not
The gel sea moss is better than capsules.
I don't like saying better than, it's different. It's different. So it's not going to absorb as fast. It's got to break down because you got to break down the capsule. So it's got to digest more. But it's more potent because the sea moss capsules just have sea moss in it. That's just the raw sea moss that's been blended to a powder. So you're going to absorb, you get the minerals and stuff, but you're going to absorb less of it because it's got to go through your whole digestive tract versus when you take the gel, which is almost a liquid form, it's going to absorb a lot quicker and you're going to absorb a lot more. So that's why I would prefer people do the concentrated gel versus the capsule or the gummies. So, all right. Do y'all want me to put the broiler on and try to brown it, or y'all want to go ahead and eat?
We've waited this long.
Assuming the broiler works on here, y'all, I can't guarantee that, okay? Okay, because this, I'm telling y'all, all right. Okay, so somebody put their timer on for 5 minutes. Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, we're almost there. Home stretch. New people, what's your name? Alice. Thank you so much for coming to class. I'm glad to have you. Oh, well. I'm glad. I'm glad that you're here. So thank you. Aaron, welcome back. Even though I know you came for Bobby, but I'm glad you stayed for me. Bobby will be here next week. Oh yeah, so for those who typically would take the Graystone dance class before this class starts, we'll be here next Sunday. Bobby returns next Sunday, hopefully in this room if they didn't kick us out, from 2 to 3. Graystone Ballroom is free to the public. It's with the Arts and Science Council. And the legendary Bobby Green from Detroit will be here teaching Graystone for the rest of the month into April. So if you want to get here early next week and get your dance on, do that. Oh, it's beginner. Yeah, I'm sure he'll have to, it's at 2 o'clock. And I'm sure he'll have to start over because it's been like a 6-week gap and people have forgotten. So I'm sure he'll be starting from the beginning on Sunday. And we have the privilege, he stays with us and he's just a wonderful person. So I encourage you all to come and do that. The more the merrier there as well. And yeah, 20. And it's 20 because it's concentrated. It's an 8-ounce jar. It's good for 3 weeks. Keep it in the refrigerator. Take 1 heaping, up max 2 heaping tablespoons in the morning. And you can put it in a smoothie. You can put it in whatever else, but it's better just to knock it back. Yep. Huh? Don't take it before you go to bed. Okay, you'll be... Morning. If you forget, just let the day go, okay? Let the day go. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions?
Can we give you a credit card?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I didn't bring that. I have, 5 sea mosses, 6 books, and 4 magnesiums. Sea moss? Okay. There's also, you can go to my site anytime, especially after this class ends, and you go naija.goddess.com/shop, and the magnesium oil and all the other stuff is there. You can do it, and I can drop it off to you, or we can meet at the airport cell phone lot, because I live in Gastonia, so we can meet there, or I can ship it. I can ship U.S. only for right now on the website. So, or just hit me up and we'll work it out. That's fine. Just want y'all to be healthy. And so, so Alice was welcome here. So we have 3, what are y'all's names?
Yeah, I'm Brenda.
Brenda.
Yes, I'm so glad I came. This is a great class.
Oh, thank you, Brenda. What's your name?
Delphi.
Excuse me?
Delphi.
Delphi. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Yeah, glad to be here.
And what's your name?
I'm Deborah.
Deborah. Okay. Love to have. I'm glad you're here. And the lovely couple in the back.
I'm Day.
Day. That's pretty. Thank you. Oh, that's your daddy. Oh, y'all came. Thank y'all so much. Y'all, they just moved back from South Africa. Yeah, they just moved back like 2 weeks ago from South Africa, and he said that he's going to have her come to the class because they just started their plant-based journey. I'm so glad to have you. Thank y'all for coming. Next time we'll have a desk for y'all. Okay, that's great. And you've all met the MEP, Nicole, our other new student in the class. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Delphi, Brenda, Deborah, Alice, and Nicole, Day, and Cameron. Okay, my cousin named Cameron. Okay, we are very glad to have you all as part of our family here. As you see, everyone here is absolutely wonderful. And I'm just glad to be of small service to people, so it's great. All right, how much time is left on the timer?
36 seconds.
Oh, okay. Let's see if the broiler actually works on the stove. Go ahead. Show the people. Can y'all see? Okay, how are we going to serve this? This one or this one? This one? This one? Oh, on the cart. Okay. I was like, it's going to be hot. How you Just in case y'all get close to the pan, it's very, very hot, okay? Okay. Okay, everybody. Thank you all so very much. And I'll see y'all next week, okay? Thank you. Y'all are really awesome. Yes.